Okay, can you tell me what happened because I wasn't at that game?
Like what happened in terms of like what I
Why
was
it got
saying,
like
why it
shut?
was perceived like that. It was
Yeah.
just, it was what I said. It was a very intense game. There was a lot of like jawing from both teams. Like Orange went into that game as a huge favorite. Like we had better like starters and more like B player
Yeah,
like
I got claimed.
B
Yeah.
quarter bench players. Like on paper, like Kevin said to me before the game, I was like, which side of the line would you take if we were laying 11 and a half? Kevin's like, obviously Orange minus 11 and a half. I think the line should be 24 and a half. I'm like, Jesus, Kevin, like have some faith in yourselves. But like regardless, like it was not supposed to be a close game. And it was. Black was beating us. Like we were just not playing well. And there was a lot of talking, a lot of intensity. Just like my brother was jawing. You can imagine how that game would go.
Sam, you were electric in the B quarter. You had like 12 free.
I had like 10 points or something.
Sam, you were catching strays from the bench. Ryan and I were just chatting you when you weren't even anywhere close to the before.
No,
I managed to leave camp so many times this summer.
Yeah.
Like
You left more than I did. I left a lot, Lek.
I would send Payas on all my food orders. Payas would like do so much stuff for the leaders. Payas and my brother just like fired up the whip and got McDonald's at like 4 p.m. on the last day, and Dave caught them.
Oh, but like Park, I was just thinking about Park. Like I think I don't know if it's a cold take, but I think Park is extremely overrated.
I'm on your team.
I
Like
agree.
truffle fries. Let me just start with truffle fries. Like there's no truffle.
Especially at camp at night. I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're paying an extra like $4 for like Parmesan cheese on your fries.
I don't care. It tastes good.
Park's definitely like pretty overpriced, but after a intensive CL day, like like you open run during flex, you're like involved in group periods, like you're like reffing Sava League, like you're just doing a lot. Like any food that like you can order at night, like you just don't care what it costs or what it is you want. Like
I mean, it's crazy.
I
Like
had some $80 Venmos this summer.
and it's also good. You have to give Park credit that like there are not a lot of restaurants that you could just like order from that many times. Like other restaurants just have like menus where like you can only get one or two things. Like Park, you have to look at the menu almost every time you order.
I mean, like, dude, like I'm starting to order the most crazy. Like I started to order the most wild things. My new go-to is 2 tavern pretzels. I mean, we have kids ordering like elk, like crazy. Where are we getting elk from? I don't know. Like
I kind of know like each person, like Lek, I know if he's ordering from Bibs, like what he's getting.
I put half of like upper camp boys on the buffalo tenders, like
Yeah,
Aton and Petty, and like so many kids just saw me eating them and were like, "How do I get?"
Pies is getting Park. He's getting the goat cheese salad.
Yeah,
yeah, that's it. When I was at Park with Emmy and Pius, Emmy got like the kale salad. Pius got the whatever the goat cheese salad, and I got like the buffalo tenders and root beer and a root beer float.
kind of showed them up, Charlie.
Yeah,
Also, just that's a crazy third wheel by you.
I know. It was that was
fun lunch.
it was fun. Yeah,
I'm tight. Yeah, that was during pit 9 or 11.
Pit 9 when
I'm
I expected more. Hudson just couldn't. I mean, he couldn't carry them like that. I was expecting more from Jackson Talbot if he's out there. I was expecting more.
Jackson was good in the first game. It was the best game I've seen him play until the color war game. I'm mad about Pitt. I coached it last year. I broke my ankle Wednesday night, and then Thursday morning I got up and coached, and then got in a car and went home afterwards. And then this year, we practiced a lot. Like we're just very locked in as a team, and lost because that kid shooting like all those long threes.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying this to my kids, going back to general and stuff. Like they were asking me like why I really thought I didn't get general, and like they wanted like answers from me. I was telling them one moment that just like really sticks in my head was during, you guys remember Pontiac brought back their 9th graders for Pit 11, right? Like they didn't bring like their real A team because they were on a big trip. So brought their 9th graders back, and for Pit 11, I wasn't coaching. I was like the orange alumni mob on the sideline. And so there was like there's one play where that same kid, the blonde kid who hit all the threes, to like take Pitt 9 away from my group. Like that kid was on the sideline. Like he was just like he was like inbounding, and like me and all the other alumni are just like clapping at him, chirping him, because like we don't like this kid. Like you stole Pitt 9 from our camp. Like me specifically, like these are my boys. I've been telling them about Pittsfield in the bunk, like on OD, like night in, night out, since they're scouts, since they're 10 and 11, about like how important Pittsfield is to this camp and how like great of an experience it is. And like this kid took it from them. So we're just like chirping him, like clapping in his face. And I just like see like Rich looking at all the alumni, like just like almost like set a better example. Like, why are you like chirping like a 9-year-old or whatever? And I'm just like, I don't know. I was just so fired up, like so like the emotion, the passion of it just like got the most of me. Like, screw this kid. Like he literally took my boys Pitt 9. Like that's gonna stick with me. Like well past and I'm done at camp.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, like on Pittsfield, like why do we only have like 3 teams there? Why can't we field like a real tournament?
Also,
we have finals at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, also it needs to be night games. Like I know, like for I don't know, the camps have an agreement or something, but like why? Like why was that an agreement? Like the night games were so hyped. Like the kid, like Lennox used to bring it. I mean, not like we don't. Like Pittsfield was awesome this year. Like I thought the fans were awesome. Like, you know, obviously we dominated. Like Pittsfield was great. It's hard to complain, but it's just like, why do you mess with things that are working sometimes? Like everyone has great memories. Everyone has great memories of the dining hall, that silent meal before, and then the chants, like as like the collegians run into alumni, and then like after we quiet down for the tip and the first basket, it erupts again. Like it's just so, I don't know. It's like so iconic. It's like associated with Lennox.
Yeah. I don't know how many more Pittsfield chips we have in us. I mean, I hope it's a lot, but
as long as we don't bring in outside refs, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't we do that this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to bring them chairs.
I was thinking that the reffing trio of me, David, Sam was gonna have to do Pittsfield next year.
Fire refs this year.
I think we should do it next year.
I think we've like brainwashed people to believe that like
we're
great refs.
Everyone thinks we're so good.
You guys have to be an orange.
Yeah. Artie thinks that alumni are like, Artie watched my brother ref. He was like, Ryan is just a great ref. Like he like knows he knows when to call it, when not to call it. Like he commended Ryan's ability to run the sideline. Like he just like
oh man, wait, Phoenix reffing this year though? Phoenix was like
Phoenix
one of the best riggers I've ever seen.
Phoenix is the Lennox ref. We can leave it at that.
Like who else? Like Kevin. Kevin was
good.
No, the classic, like the peak, like why did you even show up to CL? Just turn around and go home. Was Ben Broner and Kevin Mitchell on the same referee squad. Like, why did you even come? The result is fixed. Like, get on the bus while it's still warm.
I mean, Wani said that they hired refs when we went to I was at like I forget what grade, but it was just not hired. Like they just lied. They had like their alumni reffing their games.
Yeah, putting on white and black shirts doesn't make you hired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, to be fair, I was like, Dave Bergen like pulled me out of canteen to make me ref this year. Like I refed in like a rodeo shirt. Like I was not in like CL like proper.
I remember that game. I was the book guy, or I was doing something over
Hey,
there.
we need to find like there's certain shirts that like I can't believe aren't in circulation. Like abduction predator needs to be like
that's
Blasey.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember who he gave him to.
He gave him to a weird kid.
I think it was Spencer Neckards.
Spencer Neckards.
Spencer Neckards.
I have inside info from Lammy that he said that he wears his shirts to sleep still, but plans on putting them in CL circulation at some point.
Yeah, he needs to. You gotta. He just didn't give them away.
I wore my shirts too, and now they're
he's got the general shirt for Venom, Spider-Man, the white one. He's got Menace to Society, Ryan Silverstein. He's got a couple more cool shirts I can't even remember.
Like wearing a color shirt to bed is gross because I personally like wear in those shirts. Like I have like paint from like rocks on them and like dirt.
I love how much
Harley has any excuse to not wear a shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I back on that topic. What is like the proper like attire in like a Camp Lennox like bunk or bed? Like there's people that go to bed in like hoodies and sweatpants.
Sweatpants and a hoodie is
skin is-
proper attire.
When I was a camper and as a counselor, like I've fully would just always be too warm to sleep in anything other than underwear and only underwear. It's like I never understood kids
No.
like
A great take. That's a great take. I agree.
Not a good
I
thing.
respect wearing your pants with like a team logo on them like around camp at night and having your hoodie on and stuff. But like once you're like brushing your teeth lights out like in bed, like why
Yeah,
why
it's
are you
way
like,
too
like
hot.
unless even if it's a 3 blanket night, like just bundle up in your 3 blankets. Like
That's what I agree.
throw
Do
your
you
fan
agree
on
that
and
socks
have
have to stay on when you're sleeping in a CL bunk?
What has to stay on?
Socks.
No.
what?
Dog gotta
It's
breathe.
What?
so gross.
The
Like if
dog's
you
gotta
get out of
breathe.
bed and you're not
My
wearing
socks
I get out of
stay
bed, I
on.
put
My
on
socks
slides
stay
and go
on.
play.
You pull up to the bed in slides, take off the
Go to bed in
slides,
slides,
and get
yeah,
in the bed.
exactly. Then just take your slides off. You gotta get out of bed.
wow.
I mean, I would never have. I mean, there's people I know. I don't want to name drop TJ, but he walks around with no shoes on. He walks on the porch in the bunk with no shoes on. They're like, I
That's
mean,
all crazy.
That's foul.
I don't even know if I would go with just socks. Like, you gotta
No,
have.
like I have my socks
need
and my
slides.
like my slides next to my bed, but like I don't know, like you're just like your feet are always like dirty at camp. Like I don't want to like put that in my bed.
Always that mystery sand, like sand pebble.
Yeah, it's like a
Hole in
it's
the
like a sand dirt combination.
Wait, let's get another like similar topic. What's the average amount of times in an 8-year career from like Explorer to Collegian, Brave to Collegian that you change your sheets?
I say 4.5.
My number is 2, and it was first one was because
Summer
the first
or
one was because
total?
no two
Total.
total. First one was because of a nosebleed. The second was because of empatiga. As
Oh,
a
this year was the first time I did it. It's because like my mom would do it for me on visiting day when I was younger. But this year there was a little bed bug scare in the Lennox leader bunk. Starting with Logan Gordon and then moving to me and Tom. Me and Tom at 3 a.m. walked to the Collegian bunk because we're like scared of the bed bugs, and we like Elman's just sitting on the porch alone. And this is the night before they go to like Jacob's. It's like 3 o'clock. They're leaving at like 5.
I'm
And
just staying up.
Elman's just sitting there. Me and Tom just go to bed on the couches, and like people
That's
are
so
so
good.
confused why we're there.
As a staff member, I think I watch them like at least like once or twice every summer just because I've had the CT crib for days off, and it's like I'm like an adult and have the like easy capability of getting my stuff washed. Like I should just do it. But as a camper, it's like why? Like it's so much work. Like
Yeah, like
you're gonna
also
have the sand. You're gonna have the sand like regenerate in like 2 days
Yeah,
anyway, once you change them. Like
I mean it's also like the risk reward. Like as a camper, what's the reward of like changing your sheets? Like there's nothing like besides being told to. It's like cleaner, but like you're risking like one, it's difficult to put on, and like what if you like drop it on the floor? Like what if you
although
there's just too many risks.
I will say I've seen like I've seen kids eat like salads off from park and like drop it in their
Dan
bed
Allen.
and then like whatever like if you do some stuff to your bed like it then has a case to be changed. But if your reason for changing is just like there's sand and like general like grossness, like you can change it and like obviously it will be more clean like for the couple days after, but within like 3-4 days it's like diminishing returns. It's irrelevant. Like it's gonna be so gross anyway.
Zoplo, give us the female side of this. Like
So
girls
I change my sheets like 3-4 times now. But as a camper, I did it like I didn't sleep in my sheets. I slept on top with like a blanket. So I would change them like much less because there was no point since I never slept in my sheets.
Yeah.
I would say like the counselors kind of make the girls. I don't say anything to my kids. They can do what they want. But like definitely in lower camp, they change them every other week. I would say.
They definitely tell us like I would say they tell us they for sure tell you in the group leader meeting the day before visiting day that you should change your sheets. Or I guess we haven't had real visiting day.
I kind of let my kids.
They'll tell you that like they want like that's like a good midpoint of the summer. Like you've had your sheets on them for like a whole session pretty much. Like parents are about to come in. Maybe your bed shouldn't smell terrible. Like I
Speaking
feel
of like cleanliness,
camper, if you were ever gonna do it, it would just be once like on or right before visiting day, and then that's it. Because then the next logical time to do it's like BT war happening, like it's not happening.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are like the craziest like animals people have ever found in their bunks? Like, I mean, we had a crazy incident with a mouse.
In the
We had a
bunk?
mouse and Aiden.
Wait,
Yeah, we had
I see a mouse in like every single upper camp girls bunk.
You guys ever hear the birds in upper camp? Just like, woo.
Oh, there's only been bird in the bunk. When we were collegians, there was a bird on TV for a while. Bird in the bunk is because like obviously like you'd rather have a bird stuck in there than like a rodent, but bird in the bunk is wild.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know because with a rodent you can like go to the top bunk and be safe.
Yeah,
With a bird, you're
that's-
nowhere is safe.
Bird in the bunk, like there's nothing you can do. You can like kind of swing a broom around and be like, get out of here. But like, what is stopping that bird from just like flying anywhere at once? Like a rodent, you like can just like step on or like kind of use the broom to like push out the front door. Like,
Yeah, that's why that's what.
rodent's gonna bite you and like get through your stuff.
No, but still, you'd rather like okay. Would you not rather like? I could sleep in a bunk knowing there's a bird in there. Like it's not like
I
would
could not.
feel-
I could not.
I could like the odds that the bird would like poop on me are really slim, and I'm not that like creeped out by a bird like being like on my bed or near me. Like it's a bird.
I disagree with that.
It was like a little. It was like a little like.
Are we talking like a hawk or like a
Oh,
sparrow?
it was like yeah, it's like I mean, think about it.
Like
It's
a
in
little
TV.
bird.
This is when I was a
Like the
collegiate.
one Aiden killed.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
Aiden.
like a okay, obviously you can't sleep with just like a bald eagle roaming. A tiny little sparrow, like I'm not that's I don't know. That doesn't bother me that much.
Lek feels a connection to birds because like his
This is the wingspan. That's
Alec
fair.
thinks he's a bird. A vulture.
Don't hit.
I
Trust
feel
me.
like
Let the birds vibe in the sea bit. Let my boys be. What were
I
you
feel
saying,
like
Al?
CL brooms are meant to be snapped in half. Like when have you looked at one of those brooms and been like, damn, I really want to snap this right now.
yeah, I agree.
It's inevitable. It's a matter of time. Usually it's because you use a broom to try to like lock a door, hold it shut, and then someone just busts down through it or something. Throughout the course of the summer, at least in upper boys camp, like brooms will be snapped. They get replaced every year. Like Momo knows that. Like
Remember when Rich made us pick up every piece of trash from like the canteen down the flagpole because we broke like 12 brooms?
That was when we had Coco.
Oh,
The lower campers will never know Coco. He was a real legend. Like
rest in peace.
It really
Coco.
was. So
I mean, yeah.
so many people that have passed through camp that like we remember as being just even like before you guys like Lek.
Yeah.
that's it. It's crazy. Like, yeah, Zoplo and I could drop a whole like you guys started being campers when we were upper 20 what?
Subs, I think. Subs.
2014
Yeah.
subs. Okay, like so we have a whole like list of like lower camp names that we could just drop and you guys wouldn't know. And then we have like the list of names that like we can drop with you guys that like the campers won't know. And then we have the names that like that are like not in camp anymore, but like if we drop them around the campers would like get it. Like just so many, like such a CL history bank of names.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too, thinking of like the cheers to the dining hall. Like I said,
I was
I
thinking
didn't
about
say to you at one point, I was like early in the summer, I was like, should we get a Del Sac going? You're like, what's a Del Sac? And then Ryan and Pies look at me, they're like, damn, like, how did I know Del Sac?
I mean, like none of the kids understand what like Spock is or
Oh yeah, it's probably they just do it because
Red
we do it.
Rock. Red Rock. Yeah. Guillaume, yeah. Guillaume.
Most of the campers know
Yeah,
Red Rock.
Yame would have been a second year staff member. Like, well, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny though, just thinking like, I don't know, Colby Acker. You can just pull out a name like that.
Squiggles,
It's the reaction.
squiggles.
Wait, can we talk about how Guillaume's vomit is still like fully on that rock? That's never coming off.
Which rock?
The rock by the steps going up to the junior bunk right behind Laker. His vomit is still there. I checked it every time I walk by.
Ew. Why does that not come off in like the rain?
It's Guillaume. Have you seen that
Just a
kid?
different breed. Had to leave his mark on CL some way other than bridging the torch with my group as collegians.
That kid was manufactured in a lab.
The photos of what he did to our porch is actually crazy. Like you can
Just
just
like collapsed.
there's a pano. I'm not gonna put up my phone. It's too much work. There's a panoramic of like the one side of the bunk where the porch is like attached to bunk, and then just as you get further away, the gap gets like so wide. Like, and you're just thinking like, yeah, there was like 25 of us on here, but like think about how many years at Pittsfield we have 25 of us on here and this doesn't happen. Like Guillaume is the difference. Like having
Just him
Guillaume
bouncing
on the
into-
porch is why
Him
it's
in
not
the center is just like not gonna work.
That's so funny.
I still will remember that. Like we were on the porch, we're like, wait, it's a trampoline. Like, what should we do? Like, we're not like, we just like felt like there's no resistance. We kept bouncing, and then it's just like 10 seconds later, it broke off. We were just like, Justin was so mad at us. Gru reamed our group. Justin was like, so irresponsible, so immature, like whatever. Like, you guys aren't gonna do anything to help. And then we literally did help Fitz. Like, we spent like an AIC period just not going to AICs, like helping Fitz. Like, obviously, Fitz like doesn't need our help that much. He can do it by himself. And like, how much are 20 of us supposed to help with like a job that like 3 or 4 people do? But like, I don't know. It was obviously like, obviously like don't feel good about like breaking like any camp property or like the CB. But like looking back on it, like it was a fun experience, and like we were able to like make it right.
Fitz is such a beast. Like, does he even have anyone on his staff? Like, we had the guy who drove around with like the wagon of towels, but like,
They just think that we didn't shower on Sunday.
Zoplo, that's also a crazy part of like our CL like trajectory. Like, we watched Fitz go from like the like assistant the humble maintenance dude that they would like throw out on the bad tasks, while like Joe Clark would go handle.
Oh yeah, I mean Joe Clark. I remember
now,
Joe.
Knows it too.
Fitz is just like the guy.
Fitz knows he's like the top dog now.
But Fitz doesn't need to command his respect or like order the maintenance guys around. Like, Fitz just does his thing, and everyone watches Fitz. Like, this man was born to take care of CL. He's born to maintain.
I mean,
you know how Fitz lives during the year? Can I tell you?
Can you tell me? I've seen it with my own eyes.
You've seen his house?
Fitz's crib. It's right by camp. We were like driving during 2020 summer. I could do a whole CL banter about 2020.
No, but do
during
you know
2020 summer? Yes, where Fitz lives, we were driving like all his little like mobiles, like up like Route 8 to like get to his shack.
Fitz's house runs on battery and.
You said house? You said house?
His shack runs on battery and propane. He has no electricity. Like nothing.
That's
like,
so sick.
Battery.
Fitz like makes his house work. Like it works because of his maintenance, not like paying companies for stuff.
That's crazy. It's probably like
it's just so awesome. I love Fitz.
It's like from the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. Brute.
Fitz is just the maintainer of Lennox.
You have to love the I don't know the guy's name, the guy who brought us all the towels though. He was
great.
He drove around in his wagon.
He was a real.
Said that they just don't put on Sundays. It's true.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of the towel guide, next topic with the most relevant person for it: golf cart use in CL. We need more of them. Like, the towel guy having a golf cart is tough. We need, like, if he's gonna have one, if maintenance is gonna have one, if Rich and Steph are gonna have one,
Adrian,
golf carts. David, chime in, please.
Like, towards the end of the summer, Dave put a sign in the office that said, there's like a big wanted poster with my face on it. It's like, do not give David Allen golf carts.
They got so mad on the PA system towards the end about the golf cart.
Yeah, Rich was so mad. I stole, I think it was the night, it was American Bandstand, and
Oof.
it was the night like JJ like died, and Sam Harris was like running to the kitchen, like going back and forth trying to set up like the banana split thing. So me, Danny, and Grace just hopped in a golf cart and stole it. Then over the loudspeaker, I don't know if you probably didn't hear because you're in the lodge. It said, "David Allen, please bring the golf cart to the lodge." Like immediately. We were just
Wait, what's the craziest like scare you've had on a golf cart? Like, have you had any close calls?
I almost fell Twilight League. Remember?
Bad rocks?
Well, I'm sure David has more stories, but me, Sam, and David were like commissioners for the day because they had like all the older alumni had the night off or whatever, day off, and I was like trying to reverse it. I don't even know what I was doing by like archery, and like I almost like reversed us into the woods, and like my foot like left the pedal.
The funniest like one off the top of my head was, I think orientation 2019.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm gonna say. Roth. We're just like he pulls up to the CB. We're like going to like leave the CB. You know how you have to like reverse out of there.
Yeah.
Roth just reverses the golf cart into the back of bunk 6. Like, we have to get like 7 of us to like pull the golf cart like up the hill, like, and then get it back. Like,
Oh,
that was
Sam,
crazy.
Or like, wait, who was the one that kind of went flying off of like when you come past the tennis courts down
no,
to
that was
Boston?
Rio. That was Rio.
That was
Who?
Rio, yeah, Rio. And now
Yeah.
they put the fence up in Moss.
They put the fence is there now, but that was bad.
Another story.
During when we did that, like the like terrible fake break that Benny and I did this year on Old Pitch, like where we kind of just we had really no plan. Like the plan was to run in, and I said to Ross, like, I'm not taking a golf cart up there and then running in. I'm just driving in and throwing papers. But like as we were driving, like we had like Benny on the back and the weight distributions, whatever. And like when we drove in, like people were telling me I just had none of my front wheels on the ground.
Wait, speaking of fake breaks, I don't. This is a pretty crazy. Whatever. No, the night where they like it was a fake break, like right before Color broke.
Yeah.
When it was just like a bunch of like they were just playing the video and all that. Like people start running out of the lodge and like don't know where to go. I don't know who was with me. Like me, Sam. I think it was me, Sam, and David. I don't know. Like we just started yelling like waterfront.
It's at the waterfront.
We just started screaming it, and like the whole camp just ran to the water.
I remember for a fact, I was sitting in the lodge, and then I just because like I wasn't moving. Like I knew, obviously, I was a 2. I knew that it wasn't gonna break without like me being involved. So I was just sitting at the lodge, and then I watched David just like run up towards Cam, blowing a whistle, and I just watched this exodus of kids from the canteen, like run up all the way to the lodge, like a sea of like 200 campers up the whole.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. Like in hindsight, like I definitely illegally sent like lower camp girls through lower boys camp, which like definitely is not allowed. But like
imagine if they were like setting up.
I was just
The
reading
lines of boys and girls camp is so blurred with color war. Like girls literally just will walk like they'll walk out of their events from Moss just past the CB to team line. Like there's no like stopping them.
Yeah, facts.
And like I mean, boys obviously don't really like have like chances to like walk through girls camp, but like I've definitely saw kids like getting water at MLD and then just like wandering into the chairs by Igloo.
Yeah.
And they like my bunk is so like kind of like not in girls camp. Like kids will come right up to the porch of Pagoda, or like the back porch of Pagoda or Igloo or whatever. Because there's a hammock there now. So I looked out my window and there's just like boys in girls camp in the hammock.
Could we get like a hammock count in camp? I feel like there's just like a sneaky amount of hammocks in camp.
There's a lot of hammocks.
There's a sneaky amount of
I
hammocks.
took it back with me.
We had 3.
We had like 3 in the leader's bunk by itself.
Yeah.
And then there was just like 2 hammocks by the dugout water fountain. I'm a mechanic and I found a hammock behind the maintenance shed.
There was one by like between like bunk 2, bunk 3, bunk 5, like behind the bleachers.
That was
There's one in lower girls camp. They're all over.
There's at least like 8 hammocks.
Do you remember we had that weird ropes guy that would just hang them in like the most absurd?
Matt St. Martin.
Matt St. Martin.
That's crazy.
Mount St. Martin.
Like Matt St. Martin is just like a name. Like the list of CL meme chants are like not they're dying out, but it's just the memes of like that Zoplo and I grew up in, and you guys. I mean, it's crazy. They're like we're even a different era than you, even though we can like talk about this all the same. But like Zoplo and I's memes are like totally gone from like all those chants. Like, and even like ours from like the later 2010s are dying out. Like 2020 CL is just a different.
My kids like will see a name on a plaque. Like I remember so vividly. They were like, "Who's Ross Kepner?" And I'm just like what? Like, because they saw it on a plaque in my bunk. And I'm just like, how do you not know these names? But it's like you forget how much time has passed.
Yeah, I mean, there was like so many new kids like this year. And I don't know. Like, I feel like it's kind of a new era. But
definitely a new era.
I was saying to my kids toward the end of camp, like I was talking about just how I'm so familiar. Like this is when I was like really sad in the last few days. I was just saying I'm like so familiar with everything and can like picture being in places at camp without even being there. And I was just like, give me a group and a year that I was in camp. And they were like, sub boys in 2012. And I was like, Ross Kempner is color war captain. Like I thought of that because Zoplo just said it. But I was like I know literally without even looking at these plaques, like which names are on them from some of these groups.
Because you've lived in these bunks where I've lived in almost every single bunk in girls camp twice.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, it's obviously different with boys camp. There's more ground to cover. You
Yeah.
fit in every bunk and stuff. But
Still.
I've spent enough time like looking at plaques over the years and all the bunks and the dining hall that like I just know what to expect to see on some of them. Like I obviously have some of the CB plaques like not memorized, but like I know whose names I expect to see at like the top or bottom of the plaque when I'm thinking about going to look at it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, do you guys ever like see a name on a plaque so many times for so many years and just like never be able to put a face to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this
Oh
year.
my God, Giant
Yes.
He
This
came
year
to
the
game. I was like, wait,
Florida.
that's the guy who's been general like 5 times.
You see him on like general plaques. You see him in all the chief bunks like 3 times, all the lower camp bunks.
Yeah.
My dad like came home from work one day when I was in probably like 11th grade or something. It was like, do you know who like Tommy Leonardi is? I'm like, no, why would I know who that is? It was
I'm
like,
on the plaque.
it was like a day in like, no, but it was like, he asked me just on like a day in like November in like 9th or in like 11th grade or whatever, like not like while I'm thinking about camp. And then he's just like, yeah, like I had like a meeting with him today. Like he like told me he went to camp. I was like, oh, that's so cool. My kids go there. He was like, oh, I was general 4 times. Like,
Yeah, no, but sitting right by when we were at the black table for color war, you could see all the plaques, and there was just like right around when Rich was general, like a couple years before that, there was just like 3 different like Leonardi names, just like 7 years.
Yeah, Tom and yeah, my dad was like there with the like winning one. One of them is like 4-0, and the other one's like 0-3 or something. Hilarious.
Yeah. How'd they get the nod so many times?
There's just no one else to give it to.
Well, we
This
said
year's
that
gonna be
yesterday.
interesting. This year's gonna be interesting. Are
Actually,
they gonna
do we have any chance of being general this year?
throw it to I think
You're
I think
asking the
they-
wrong people about.
I think they can't.
Dinner.
I think they have to go. I think they have to go with like.
Like Momo too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Momo lost. You never know. Like,
okay. They're just not gonna consider your guys' group because of age. Like if you guys just aren't candidates and like they have to like really pick from like some people that like don't know camp super well, haven't been there for a while, like some really weak candidates. Like
I'd rather Momo.
I could hear worse. Yeah, like Momo, like I had some conversations with Momo this summer, like deep, like toward the end of camp, like after the coaching and stuff. Like I know deep down, like how much Momo really, really cares about Lennox, and not just like Lennox, like the name and the brand, but like
Alumni tradition.
Yeah, the alumni traditions and like things being passed on and like the things that aren't supposed to happen at camp, but like obviously have to happen because it makes it fun.
Think of
Momo
Momo.
does care about that, and I wish there was a better. I wish campers
You
knew
have
that.
to think of Momo as the last bridge between you guys and admin. Like he's really like the last generation at camp that like remember, like that gets it.
I mean, he was my group, like Momo was my group leader when I was a sub boy. He was my group leader, and like he like knew, like I thought he was super cool. Just on the first day, like kids were like, "Oh, should we turn in our food?" He's like, "Why would you turn in your food? Like, who would come take it? My dad." Like Momo just has like being the son of the camp director, like he has so much like inherent like respect and like, wow, you did this, you have this memory, you have this story, you have this experience. And it's like the same way like campers just look up to alumni in general, like because they have those experiences. Like everyone could really look up to Momo and be like, you've gotten the chance to like do camp better and cooler and like with more leeway than anyone else.
We remember him before.
Momo has so much cool stuff to share, and I wish campers saw him more like that. Like it almost seems like they just see him such an authoritative administrative force, which he has to be because it's part of his job, but they don't really get to know the side of Momo that I know and know that they would like love and appreciate. Yeah. sense.
I've had like good half an hour conversation with him about Roper. And like after we couldn't
Yeah,
get the
very
fire,
Roper
we
discussions.
just talked like in the traffic circle while he was fully like,
Momo loves Roper. You could talk about Roper forever.
He
yeah.
loves it.
What are we doing about